Have you ever felt like the path to inner peace is about gaining more? More knowledge, more discipline, more experiences? Well, today we're jumping into a fascinating guide from the 17th century that flips that whole idea on its head. It suggests that the real secret to connecting with the divine isn't about gaining anything at all, but about learning how to let everything go. Right off the bat, we get this really powerful idea. It's the key to the whole thing. The journey isn't about building up a better version of yourself. It's more like a disappearing act. The goal is to let this self dissolve, to make room for something so much bigger. Okay, so how do you even start a journey of disappearing? It sounds pretty abstract, right? Well, the text actually lays out a really specific first stage. It's a process of letting go. And it's definitely a challenge, but it's absolutely essential. So the path starts where you'd expect, letting go of physical stuff and our day-to-day worries. Easy enough to say, harder to do. But then it gets way deeper. The third step is to abandon even your spiritual gifts. You know, those amazing moments of insight or joy that can make you feel special? Yeah, you have to let go of those too. And then the final boss, abandoning the self entirely. That's described as the most complete and the most important part of the whole process. And this is such a critical warning. The guide points out this really common trap on the spiritual path. Even our progress, our achievements, can become just another trick our ego uses to feel important. So by clinging to how spiritual we are, we end up feeding the exact thing we're trying to get rid of. We basically block our own path. And you know, let's be real, the text doesn't sugarcoat this. It's not some easy, blissful process. It's actually described as a necessary purification, like you're passing through an inner fire. But this pain isn't some kind of punishment. It's the very thing that refines you, that burns away all the stuff that isn't truly essential. So once we get a handle on what we need to abandon, the guide gives us two core principles. Think of them as the mindset you need to adopt for the entire journey. So this really boils it down to one central choice. On one side, you're consciously turning away from the ego, from all the noise and distractions of the world. And on the other, you're turning completely toward the divine. You're choosing to love and follow, but with no personal agenda, not even a holy one. It's a total reboot of where your focus lies. And then the text just hits you with this incredibly direct question. It just cuts through everything, right to the heart of your motivation. What are you really after? In your job, in your life, even in your spiritual journey? Is it about looking good to others, getting praise, respect, a great reputation? Or is it about the connection itself? Now, if you follow this path, it leads to a state that text calls nothingness. And I know that sounds kind of bleak, maybe even scary, but it's actually presented as the ultimate freedom. Think about it. If you truly see yourself as nothing, what can possibly hurt you? What insult can actually stick? What loss can throw you completely off balance? It's this amazing paradox, a state of unshakable strength that comes from total, complete humility. This brings us to the destination, the whole point of this silent path. And it's a profound state of inner quiet and balance, a true spiritual rest. So what does a person in this state of rest actually look like? Well, their soul is no longer getting tossed around by whatever's happening. Joy and pain, light and dark, success and failure, they meet it all with the same inner calm. They're rooted in something much deeper than the daily ups and downs, and they have this steady peace no matter what's going on outside. And this is so important. This state of rest isn't some empty void. The text describes it as something unbelievably precious, a treasure that's been hidden or forgotten. So it's not about having nothing, it's about finally discovering the one thing that has real, lasting value. The guide finishes with this beautiful poem that really captures this whole idea. It starts by saying, to the outside world, you might look like you have nothing, but on the inside, your reality is one of incredible richness. You might seem simple or unimportant in other people's eyes, but on the level that actually matters, you're lifted up, you're valued and honored by the divine. And the poem ends with this simple, powerful request. This is it. This is the goal of the whole path laid out in the text. It's not just asking for a fleeting moment of happiness, but for a life that is truly defined by a deep, heavenly joy and an unbreakable, true peace. So as we wrap this up, the text leaves us with this question to really think about in our own lives. Beyond all the noise, the ambition, the everyday struggles, What is that forgotten pearl, that rich hidden treasure that you are truly seeking?
For more spiritual resources, visit lokaken.ai.